everyone. In this lecture we want to discuss about multilinear regression model. So for the first lecture of this type of regression, we want to predict global temperature of our planet Earth. So we must import some useful library from NumPy and Pandas. So write import NumPy as a np and then import Pandas as a pd. Then save your file, for example multi1, and write py to identify Python code. So next we want to load our data frame from Excel file. This file has a temperature of Earth from 1750 to today. So we can use pd dot read underline CSV, and here we must write name of our file, so global temperature.csv. Then I build this code to see the output. So we are clear, we have no error, so continue to select our data. I want to select 1800 data of this database, so I define year as follow: df.index 1800 and first column. Then we can select land maximum temperature as follows. So write x1 equals to df.ix, and here write 1803. Then we need to select our second parameter, land minimum temperature. Then write x2 equals to and here write 5. Then we must define our target. So I define average temperature as a target, so write y equals to and second column for it. Now we must build our code to see the output. Alright, we have no error again. Then we can use some matplotlib library to show this data on 3D diagrams. So import everything from matplotlib and import this library as a PLT, then we want to use a 3D plot, so we must use this library mpl_tool git dot mplot 3D, and from this library we must import access 3D. Then we need to define some figure for our plot, so define fig equals to plt dot figure, and define 3D object as follows: access 3D of fig. Then we must use a scatter plot for this data, so right here x1, x2 and y. Finally use plt dot show to see the results. Then go to tools again and build your codes again. Okay, as you can see, our data has been created and printed in 3-dimensional space, and you can rotate this data to see the better visualization of this data. We want to estimate the output, our average temperature, by using x1 and x2. So continue to build your model for this data set. So before it, we must concatenate x1 and x2 to create x input. So write pd dot concat and here write x1 and x2. Then define access equals to 1. After it, we want to predict the output of this model, so we must use some useful Sklearn libraries as follows. So from Sklearn imports everything, and from Sklearn imports linear model. Then we need some metrics to measure our accuracy of our model, so we must use R2 and mean squared error. So right here mean squared error, and here write R2 score, and finally we must use accuracy score. Alright, now we can define train and test data by using cross-validation method. So right here x underline train and x underline test, and then copy and paste it for y. Here change it to y and this. Then we need to cross validation library, and we want to use train test split. Train test split, and here we define x, y, and we must split some data and for test purpose. So define test size of 30%. Now we need to build our codes to see the possible error and accuracy of our codes. Okay, we have no error, and then we need to build our regression model for this test.